समुद्र की पहली सुरक्षा रेखा क्या होती है आपको पता है? ये है इंडियन कोस्ट गार्ड। बेसिकली ये एक मल्टी मिशन फोर्स है जो हर दिन हर वक्त सर्च एंड रेस्क्यू, मैरिटाइम लॉ एनफोर्समेंट, कोस्टल सिक्योरिटी, स्मगलिंग और पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल जैसे कई क्रिटिकल रोल्स निभाती है। 1978 में अपने इंसेप्शन के बाद आईसीजी ने अपनी कैपेबिलिटीज, फ्लीट और स्ट्रैटेजी में जबरदस्त बदलाव किए हैं। 1980s एंड 1990s में जब गोल्ड स्मगलिंग हुआ करती थी, तब से लेकर आज के ज़माने में जब नार्कोटिक्स की ट्रैफिकिंग हो रही होती है, हाइब्रिड थ्रेट्स हमारे सामने होते हैं, एनवायरमेंटल हैजर्ड्स हमारे सामने होते हैं और इस तरीके के कई नए हाइब्रिड डेंजर्स हमारे सामने आजकल जो देखने को मिल रहे हैं, इस सिचुएशन से निपटने के लिए इंडियन कोस्ट गार्ड का रोल हर रोज और भी क्रूशियल होता जा रहा है। चाहे बात हो इंडिया के एक्सक्लूसिव इकोनॉमिक जोन की सिक्योरिटी की या इमरजेंसी रिस्पॉन्सेस की, इंडियन कोस्ट गार्ड आज पहले से ज्यादा प्रिपेयर्ड, अजाइल और टेक सेवी है। कितना है ये आज के इस कॉन्वर्सेशन में हम जानेंगे और क्या कुछ है हमारा फ्यूचर प्लान, ये भी हम जानेंगे। इस इवॉल्विंग फोर्स के बैकडोर है डीजी आईसीजी परमेश शिवमनी सर के हाथ में। उनकी लीडरशिप में कोस्ट गार्ड ने पिछले कई महीनों में बोल्ड रिफॉर्म्स, इंडिजनाइजेशन और फ्यूचरिस्टिक मरीन स्ट्रैटेजीज की तरफ कई बड़े कदम उठाए हैं। नमस्कार, आप सुन रहे हैं डायरेक्टरेट ऑफ पब्लिक रिलेशंस, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ डिफेंस का पॉडकास्ट रक्षा सूत्र और मैं हूं आपकी सूत्रधार शैलजा। आज हम बातचीत करने जा रहे हैं डायरेक्टर जनरल परमेश शिवमनी सर से। सर, बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका रक्षा सूत्र में।
थैंक यू वेरी मच।
सबसे पहला सवाल तो मैं आपसे यही पूछना चाहूंगी कि what were the key factors that led to the establishment of the Indian Coast Guard in 1978 and how has the force evolved since its inception?
There were three primary reasons for the establishment of the Indian Coast Guard. First was, there was rampant poaching in our waters. Now, poaching translates to mineral wealth, fish wealth being taken away by, countries which are there in our neighborhood and beyond, which depletes our fish stocks and it causes loss to the economy of the country. So poaching was one of the reasons it was being, faced by the country, and the poaching was rampant. It was happening in the Arabian Sea, it was happening in the Bay of Bengal, it was happening in the Indian Ocean region, in the Indian Sea, which was a big concern for us. The second was there was rampant smuggling also happening. Now, when smuggling happens, it opens up something called the black economy, and it makes inroads into various forms of nefarious activities, which needs to be curtailed. And the third most important thing was the discovery of the oil and natural gas wells in the Indian exclusive economic zone. So these three factors led to the government of India deciding that we need a force to be called the Indian Coast Guard, which can take over the responsibilities of peacetime safety and security duties in the maritime zones of India. So when we started off in 1978, we had two ships which were decommissioned from the Navy, which were given to the Coast Guard. And we also had 5 seaward defense boats, which were seconded to the Coast Guard. On the aircraft inventory side, we had 2 Chetak helicopters and 1 Fokker Friendship aircraft, which was on lease from the erstwhile Indian Airlines. And as we speak today, our force levels are up about 205 ships and crafts of various sizes, and 78 aircraft, which includes both the fixed wing and the Dornier and the rotary wing.
जी सर, हम देखते हैं कि 1980s and 1990s gold smuggling was a major issue, whereas today the focus has shifted to drugs and narcotics trafficking. How has the Indian Coast Guard adapted its operations and strategies over the years to tackle these evolving challenges?
So in the early 90s and late 80s, there was heavy influx and of contraband into the country. Now, the contraband in those years and those days were primarily restricted to gold and silver and electronic items. And the Coast Guard was very successful in intercepting a large consignment of both gold and silver and other contraband, which includes electronic items. Over the years, we have also seen the influx of narcotics, which are trying to be transshipped through the sea channels and using the seas and oceans as a medium into the country. But our ships and aircraft have been very successful in apprehending a large amount of drugs which were destined for India and beyond. Recently, last year, we also had the record seizure of about 6,000 kgs of met in the Andaman Nicobar Islands, in the seas adjoining the Andaman Nicobar Islands. And this was the largest single drug haul in the maritime history of Bharat.
Right, sir. With Operation Sindoor and the changing geopolitical dynamics in the Indian Ocean region, which we are aware of, what measures has the Indian Coast Guard taken in terms of forward operating bases, training, and logistics to enhance operational readiness?
So we have a lot of Coast Guard stations and district headquarters which are strategically located along our coast. So during ships deployment, we ensure that there is enough wherewithal in terms of logistics, which include requirement to sustain a ship out at sea, whether it is fuel, rations, water. And these are stocked and well maintained so that whenever the ship comes back to a port to replenish, these items are readily available and they can be expeditiously embarked on the ship so that the ship can do a quick operational turnaround and they have to go back to their patrol areas.
Ji. And what reforms has the Indian Coast Guard undertaken in response to the Ministry of Defence's declaration of years of reforms?
The Ministry of Defense has highlighted that this particular year will be known as the year of the reforms. And we are very happy to be part of this reforms procedure. And there are very many reforms which are going to take place. And key among them are, integration and synergy between all the three forces, which includes the Coast Guard also. And we are also seeing the reforms in the field of defense procurement, which keeps getting addressed time and again. And we are very happy to know that timelines for various defense procurements have been curtailed, which will ensure that the equipment which we need is expeditiously made available to us and it is fast-tracked also. And the land leasing reforms is also another major breakthrough for us. There have been cases of land leasing which have been lying ages to get materialized, but with these reforms coming in, even the land leasing cases would be addressed in a very short time frame for us. The Government of India is also taking steps to ensure that we are digitally equipped, and the Digital Coast Guard project is one major project for us which will ensure that the complete database of the Coast Guard is digitized and it is held, and this will serve as a platform for us to expand our digital footprint pan Coast Guard.
Ji, sir. And how is the Indian Coast Guard enhancing its emergency response capabilities in light of incidents like MVWN HAI 503 and MVMCS ELSA 3 while balancing maritime security and environmental protection?
MV ELSA 3 and VANHAI 503 were two maritime casualty incidents which happened simultaneously off the Kerala coast. So for us, it was de-induction from Op Sindoor and induction into the Kerala coast to protect and preserve the maritime environment. Our ships were the first to respond to both the incidents, wherein we did the rescue of the crew of both the affected ship and simultaneously launched firefighting efforts and also pollution response efforts to ensure that there was no oil spill, and what little oil came out from the ships immediately churned and addressed and neutralized using the oil spill disbursement. So in a short span of time, we were able to neutralize any harmful effect to the maritime environment, and this was entirely due to the efforts of our brave sea warriors who were on scene to ensure that the safety and the maritime security of our nation is always kept at the highest pedestal. We were able to put multiple ships and multiple aircraft on scene to ensure that there was no damage to the maritime ecosystem.
Ji, sir. As the maritime domain grows increasingly complex, what is the Indian Coast Guard's long-term vision, and how is the force addressing critical capability gaps and emerging hybrid threats at sea?
As I said earlier, that we have ships and aircraft of various sizes with various capabilities. And as a forward-looking Coast Guard, we are also inducting state-of-the-art ships with cutting-edge technology see similar aircraft which will be force multipliers for us. We are also in the process of inducting RPAs and UAVs, which will enhance the surveillance and reconnaissance and intelligence gathering for us over the maritime domain. We have the coastal surveillance network phase 1, under which we have 46 radar stations which are fully operational. Phase 2 is also on the anvil. We have 38 radar sites, and which should get operational by end of this year.
Ji, sir. And what strategic roles do hovercrafts currently play in the Indian Coast Guard's coastal surveillance and interdiction operations? Are there any plans to expand their development or upgrade their capabilities in the near future?
So we have 14 hovercrafts which are strategically placed along the Indian coastline, and these hovercraft are versatile platforms which are used for surveillance over creeks and shallow water areas. And these are craft which can go in places where conventional ships cannot go, and they give us that reach, and we are able to look forward into the sea and in areas where we need to have a presence at all times. Recently, we also had the first girder laying ceremony of the indigenous hovercraft being built at Chowgles in Goa, and this is a big step towards the government's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, and we are firmly on the road to self-reliance insofar as our ships construction and aircraft construction goes.
Right, sir. And coming to the next question, with the recent launch of ICGS ATAL, the sixth in the series of 8 indigenously built fast patrol vessels by Goa Shipyard Limited, how does the Indian Coast Guard plan to integrate these vessels into its broader maritime security strategy, particularly in enhancing coastal surveillance and quick response capability?
So these new fast patrol vessels being built Goa Shipyard Limited are capable platforms which can do speeds in excess of about 35 knots, and they have the equipment with them for enhanced surveillance and reconnaissance capabilities. They are also well equipped in terms of armament, and they have speedboats with them which can be lowered to carry out interdiction operations. So these platforms are state of the art, and they give us the reach to go out to sea immediately and become the first responder to any maritime incident.
Right, sir. And with the launch of Samudra Prachet, the second indigenous pollution control vessel, how does the Indian Coast Guard plan to leverage these state-of-the-art vessels to strengthen its environmental protection capabilities, particularly in responding to oil spills within the exclusive economic zone?
So, we have 3 pollution control vessels in our inventory right now, and the addition of these 2 pollution control vessels, which are being built by Messrs. Goa Shipyard Limited, will act as a force multiplier for us. It will ensure that we have enough ships equipped with the pollution control equipment which can be sailed out immediately in case of a maritime casualty incident. As you are aware that we had 3 back-to-back incidences of the Kerala coast in the month of May and June, and we were able to deploy the PCVs on the west coast. But with the addition of these 2 ships, it will give us more comfort and ability to respond to multiple threats in case they were to happen in the maritime domain.
Right, sir. And with the keel-laying of the first next-generation offshore patrol vessel at Mezigan Dock, how does the Indian Coast Guard plan to leverage cutting-edge technologies like AI-based predictive maintenance and remote-piloted drones, while also advancing the vision of Atmanirbharta in maritime defense capabilities?
All our ships under construction and all our ships which have been constructed till date have been exclusively done in Indian shipyards. So we are firmly with the government's vision of being Atmanirbhar Bharat, and the ships which are under construction would be having the latest technology for surveillance, reconnaissance, and also AI-induced equipments for our machinery control, for our data assimilation, and we have we have certain systems wherein the data is analyzed through an AI module. So these technology which is going to be made available to us will ensure that we are able to perform our duties in a much more better manner.
राइट सर, एंड विद दिस हम इस एपिसोड के एक अंत की तरफ बढ़ चुके हैं. What has been your most significant challenges as Director General of ICG and how have you addressed them?
So the challenges for the DG Coast Guard are multifaceted, and since we have about 11,098 kilometers of coastline and an exclusive economic zone of 2.01 million square kilometers, and an Indian search and rescue region of 4.7 million square kilometers, and within the Indian EEZ we have about close to about 15 to 16,000 ships which transit every day. So we need to be very careful as to being able to understand and know the position of each of these vessels, and also to react immediately in case there was a requirement which warranted us. I still remember that we have been able to react and respond to situations as far as 700 to 800 nautical miles away from our coast, and it gives us very much satisfaction when we save lives. And you must understand that saving a life gives much more confidence, it gives much more comfort rather than firing a bullet in anger. So as DG Coast Guard, it gives me a lot of satisfaction that when we come to know, when through my regional commanders I'm apprised that we've been able to save so many lives, we have been able to save so many marine lives, the endangered species which are protected under the Wildlife Act 1972, and human lives, and also prevent smuggling of contraband, and contribute more effectively to nation building. It gives me a lot of satisfaction.
And lastly, sir, what message would you like to share with the youth who is aspiring to join the Indian Coast Guard?
See, the Indian Coast Guard is a dynamic force, and it is the force which is 24/7 in the service of the nation. We don't have holidays, we don't have the luxury of deciding that we can take a holiday, or we can rest on a particular day, because emergencies and incidents do not wait for holidays to occur. So they can occur as we speak. So it is a very challenging job, and it is very, very demanding on our personnel also. And it gives me so much of satisfaction as the Director General that every Coast Guard sea warrior is able to respond immediately and efficiently to address any maritime incident out at sea. So the youth, if they have to look at a challenging career for themselves, the Indian Coast Guard stands as one great opportunity for them to come, join and serve the nation.
Thank you so much, sir, हमारे लिए समय निकालने के और हमसे बात करने के लिए.
Thank you very much.
दोस्तों, तो जैसा कि आज हमने जाना कि इंडियन कोस्ट गार्ड का काम सिर्फ पेट्रोलिंग तक सीमित नहीं है. ये भरोसा है एक ऐसी फोर्स का जो समुद्र के रग रग से वाकिफ है और एक प्रोटेक्टिव लेयर बनकर समुद्र तट पर हमारे लिए खड़ी रहती है. From safeguarding trade routes to saving lives, from cracking down on smuggling to controlling pollution, the Indian Coast Guard quietly does the extraordinary. और जैसे जैसे मैरीटाइम चैलेंजेस इवॉल्व हो रहे हैं, वैसे वैसे इंडियन कोस्ट गार्ड भी नए जज्बे, नए विजन और नई तरीकों के साथ तैयार है. A big thanks to DG Paramesh Sivamani sir for sharing rare insights straight from the helm of the Indian Coast Guard. लेकिन ये तो बस एक चैप्टर था. रक्षा सूत्र के अगले एपिसोड में लेकर आ रहे हैं एक और अनसीन वॉरियर, एक और मिशन, या होगी एक और नई कहानी जिसमें जज्बा होगा, जुनून होगा. मिलती हूँ आपसे अगले एपिसोड में. धन्यवाद. जय हिंद.